if this is not the best job you've ever had, I will politely ask you to leave. All right, so now we're at the Jake and Gino event, Multifamily Mastery 4 in Orlando, Florida, and we have the G-Daddy himself. We've got Gino here. I'm very surprised we got him. He's super in demand, very popular, great guy. Everybody wants a piece of him. So, man, I so appreciate you being here with me.
What Bruce says, Gino does. And let me tell you one thing. This is really true. We went out to an event last year. We did a money mixer. And when people give, they receive. He gave a lot of love that weekend. He didn't have to do that. I didn't give him a nickel. He gave me a full day's worth of his time. If I can't give him 15 minutes and show him the respect, then what kind of people are we? But I had a truly amazing, I missed that weekend because it was during the COVID and it was tough. And he stepped in that weekend, provided a tremendous amount of value. He didn't have to do that. But I really, truly appreciate it. I never really said thank you for that because Josh went out there. That's the only event that I missed in the last 3 years. It was just during a crazy time, and I wasn't even sure we were gonna do it, but he stepped up. He showed up, he spent 5 or 6 hours lecturing about syndication, and people took away a lot. And that's when you launched your book. So you launched your book out there, phenomenal. So big thanks, bro.
You might not have directly said thank you, but I got a really nice cutting board with the apartment guy in place that somebody else probably did for you. But hey, dude, it was appreciated.
Like
so
good.
Any way I can ever give back to you guys, I'm always glad to. Just to be frank, your team said, well, how much? I'm like, I'm not going to charge you guys. You guys have helped me at every turn. You've pumped me up. We've helped each other. So I would never dream of charging you guys for anything. I'm just glad to help others that are doing this the right way. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. So I want to talk about a couple of things, though, and most people that interview you probably hit on this because it's your brand. It's who you as a human, not Wheelbarrow Profits, not Jake and Gino, but you as a man. Talk to me about your family a little bit. What are you doing for your family? How are you bringing your family through and into this?
Well, Bruce, you've met my wife. And she probably saved my soul. She'd probably say that. I got lucky, hit a home run, and I wanted to have 2 kids. That's all I wanted. It was 2 children, small family, and we started having kids, and I saw what kind of mother she was. That was her sole purpose. That's what she wanted to do. And I'm like, let's go for the ride. What we're doing for our family, we homeschool our kids. We've been homeschooling since when it wasn't cool. We weren't the cool kids on the block. But that's what we wanted to do. That's how we spend time with our family. Now, my oldest is in college. She graduated. She's a missionary at Life Teen, so she's following her passion. My son is a sophomore in college. I'm an advocate for college. If you go for school for what you want to and you don't load yourself up with debt, right? Gabriella, she's got no debt. She's doing what she wants to do. I was able to do that for her. My son, same thing. He's going to the 2nd year. He's got a job, busboying. I'm helping him pay for college. I don't want them to have debt. I want them to get that education. I want them to get that experience, but I don't want them to have $100,000 in student debt getting out. It's not worth it. I want them here at these events. If you can see behind us, you probably can't hear, there's about 900 people at this event. They come to all of our events. They need to feel the energy. They need to feel the excitement. They need to see that dad loves his job. I hated my job at the restaurant for years. And for me, it felt sinful doing that because I'm coming home and I'm equating hard work with not liking my job. And that was the worst thing that I could have possibly done. I'm the role model for them. I don't want them going out and looking at anybody else as being a role model. I want to be their financial role model, their spiritual role model, their entire role model. I want to be a dad. And I'll give you a quick story. My daughter left for Life Teen and she's never been away. And she left me a note, a little yellow Post-it stamp.
Am I going to cry?
I don't know if you're going to cry, but basically what she said to me, and this is for all you dads out there, if you're going to be an asshole to your daughter, they're going to marry assholes. And she said to me, basically, you're the first man that I ever fell in love with. And she goes, now,
I'm gonna cry.
I know what the bar is, and that's what we need to do to our children. Is it hard being a parent? Absolutely, it's really difficult. But it's like real estate, like anything else, it's the long game. And as a parent, I'm gonna give you one bit of advice as a parent. It's okay to make mistakes and to say sorry to your kids. We're all fallible. If we show that we're sorry to our kids and we say sorry, they'll be able to grow up with that self-esteem and that encouragement. Give them boundaries. Don't be afraid to say no. But increase those boundaries as they get more experience, as they get older in life. And most importantly, try not to criticize them too much. Try to love them and try not to live your life through them. Let them plan their own lives.
Right. So that's huge. You know, I'm a fairly new father. I have an adopted daughter who is absolutely my daughter. So I don't like to say adopted, but I would like to, you know, set the tone for what we're talking about. But I remember one night we got a call about 2 o'clock in the morning. Got woken up by the police. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Well, she jumped the fence with her friends at the country club to go into the pool at night. She's like 16 years old. So the cops come out, they get called, and we go out there to pick her up. She's mortified, she's embarrassed. So we take her home the next morning. She's in the kitchen, cleaning the kitchen. And I said, how you doing? She goes, you could tell she felt terrible. I said, what I have to make you understand is 2 things. My role is to make sure you don't make such a big mistake that you can't recover from it. Your mom and myself, we've made that mistake or more. We got to make sure you can recover from the mistakes you make. But secondly, and more importantly, I need you to understand, I'm very disappointed in what you did. I will never be disappointed in you.
Yes.
And she started crying, and you know, it was a really big bonding moment. But I like that you said, and apologize to your children. They're not your possessions. They don't belong, well, they do belong to you, but treat them as many human beings, because that's what they are. They have egos, they have needs, they have to treat them with respect and dignity like you would anybody else. And I love it about you.
Bruce, what happened, share another story with you. About a year ago, my daughter Gabrielle, who's here, who's videoing, she came to me and she's like, Dad, I gotta do these videos. I said, Gabs, I need them. Okay, I'll get them to you. I didn't set the expectation by Friday, so it was my mistake. The next day I come to her, Gabs, do it. Dad, I'm almost done, I'm in college. The next day I come and I explode on her. I just start yelling at her. And I stop back, and my wife comes and taps me on the shoulder 5 minutes later. She goes, do you speak to your employees like that? I'm like, dude, that really hit me.
Yeah.
And rarely do I do that to the kids, but I didn't set the proper expectations, number 1, so it was my fault. And number 2, I don't speak to anyone else like that. Why would I speak to my daughter like that? I got frustrated, and maybe it was something within me that I felt like I was letting myself down by living my life through her, and she's not living up to my expectations. So for me, it was a huge revelation for me. Treat your kids with respect, with love. You might not love what they do, but you'll always love them. You tell them that, hey, I didn't love that you jumped the fence of the pool. I still love you, though. Those two are separate, one from the other. So
yeah, we had another conversation. This is way rabbit holing, but that's fine. I want this to go wherever it's going to be. We're never going to do the next thing on the question list. We're just going to have a conversation. So another time we were walking through a Whole Foods, just her and I was talking to her about her boyfriend. She goes, Dad, would you stop? I'm like, so I literally stopped in the middle of the grocery store. I said, okay, we have 2 options. I can not give a shit and stop, or I can care. And she had a decision to make. She goes, okay, care. I say, look, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be a jerk and be the parent and it's because I care. I don't want anything to happen to you. You're gonna make your own mistakes, and that's fine, you know? I want you to be happy and safe. If happy means you're working at Taco Bell, building tacos for somebody, I do not give a shit. If you're happy and you can take care of yourself, I don't care what you do. I know what I would like for you to do, but hey, this is your life, you live it the way you want. So yeah, it's all about family for me too. And I use you as kind of a role model, if you will. But talk to me also about, again, I refer everybody I know. Who do I go to for education? I send them your way, because I feel you and Jake are the most genuine, the nicest, most caring, really want it for your students in the entire industry. But I'm curious, what was the impetus, and you've probably said it on stage 100 times, why did you and Jake decide we need to go do this?
Well, there's a couple answers to that. The first one was, I wasn't a great investor. So how do you become great at something? You learn it. Yeah. I started writing a book, Wheelbarrow Profits, back in 2015. We launched it. Then we started the podcast. Bruce, I didn't know what a podcast was. Just launched the podcast, right? You come in and figure it out. And then you start doing it, and then you start liking it. And then all of a sudden, that weekly mastermind with the podcast, whether it's T. Harv Eker or Robert Kiyosaki or all of those, and you keep having revelations and iterations, and you got to work deep. We don't like to do the deep work. I was on a podcast with somebody, and I shared the story out here, and they were talking about a transformation before the restaurant, right before my dad passed away, till after. Well, I loved working with the family. I loved having employees that I can count on, my brother, my mom, my dad. I liked that camaraderie. When he passed away, I sort of lost that. And then I got into the real estate and I got into multifamily, and Jake is building up the property management side. And when I started doing the education side, I'm like, I want to have a small team. I really want to build a small team of caring people. You see John Griffin, you see Mackenzie, you see Josh, you see Dylan, Scott, my brother Mark. And working through it the last few months, thinking about why am I doing this, I'm building that because I didn't like my job.
Oh yeah.
I want people to come to work at Jake and Gino, be inspired, change lives, have impact. We're not only an education company, we're an implementation company. The students have closed over 23,000 units, over $1 billion. But that's not the true success. Changing lives, having people here, having lifelong relationships, changing their mindset, right? Inspiring them, motivating them, but having my team come to work every day and enjoying it. And that to me is everything. And I tell Josh, I only want people who are serious about the education. You can go on Google, there's not one negative review. I'm probably gonna get a couple from this one, but that's okay. But really, the brand means everything to me. And if somebody's not qualified, we're not gonna take them on.
Right.
And life is not free. I've invested over $500,000 in the last 3 years. This guy probably spent more than me. If you want to get to that next iteration in life, you need to continue to invest in yourself. And that's why there's 900 people here. That's why we're sitting here. Because every time I do an interview, I learn something. I get better at something. So that's what life's all about. And I think that's what I want our brand to encapsulate. Our employees love to come to work. I love the story of the Southwest, of the CEO of Southwest. I mean, it's his company, it's his brand. I mean, he worries about it's first. What is it? First, is it employees first, and then the customers, and then the shareholders. But the employees always first, because if you make the employees happy, they're going to make the customers happy. And then if the customers are happy, the shareholders will be rewarded. This day and age, and the last 10, 15, 20 years, it's been the opposite. So for me, I wanted to build a small team that we can focus first on our employees, and then they'll deliver.
Yeah, we went into a Gordon Gekko phase for a long time. Oh, it's all about greed. Greed is good. But no, that's so broken because greed, you're getting ahead on somebody else's effort, stepping on other people's backs. But I tell people that I interview for jobs all the time within our company, if this is not the best job you've ever had, I will politely ask you to leave. I hope you're self-aware enough because like you, I worked retail for 20 years, right? You were in the restaurant business. And I was, I was physically nauseated every day I went to work at the end. And I tell them all, come on, I want this to be the best job you've had. I don't ever want anybody to go through the shit that I went through and working for somebody else. I want you to enjoy your job. So we are so much aligned, it's incredible. That treat everybody with dignity. It's all about empathy with us. You're sitting in the leasing office, you're the leasing professional, or you are the property manager. I tell them, this is the rule book, this is SOP, this is what you do when that happens. Until you can't do it. And they're like, what? Follow the rules until you can't follow the rules. Well, what does that even mean? Because it means that's a human being sitting on the other side of the table from you. If enforcing the policy, which is the right thing to do, but if that's the wrong thing to do for that human in this instance, don't do it. You do what's right for that person. Explain to me why you did it, and you'll never get in trouble for taking care of a human being. I don't give a shit what you do if your heart's in the right place. Now we might talk about it and go, next time maybe we do this instead of that, or but that's okay. You take care of people, and it's Southwest, right? They always hear from me. You are the most important people in my world. It is not the residents. I don't give a shit about the residents. Okay, of course I do, but I don't, because if I kill myself to provide a great place for you to live, a great life for you, you will just by default, it will bleed out of you into the residents. We don't live without them, but it's all about you guys.
So that's about core values. We just another little rabbit hole. You need to develop core values. I mean, I didn't have core values 3 or 4 years ago. That's why I mentioned one restaurant for 20 years and 1,500 apartment units in 5 years or 6 years. And that core value you're talking about is people first for us. People first. And that means for us, it's our residents, it's our investors, it's our education students, it's our employees. If we put people first, you're going to succeed in life.
I agree with that. So I'm very mindful of your time. I know you have a lot of fans back there waiting to talk to you again. So man, I really, really appreciate you being here with me, taking some time. I'm always here for you. You've always been there for me. So if there's ever anything you need from me, let me know. I'd say give a plug. I mean, give a plug if you want, but I think everybody knows who you are and where to find.
I just heard Josh Rusin. You just heard what he said. If you ever need anything, hit Mr. Petersen up, because I know he will come through for us. So, this has been an odd pleasure. This is sort of a decompression time for me right now. And, get me talking about family, get me talking about core values, get me talking about building a business. Man, it's a lot of fun doing that,
It is.
I enjoy
doing what we do. All right, thank you for being here.
Thanks.